Play will be starting in about 3 or 4 minutes, so please head to your seats. Play will be starting in 1 minute. Good evening and welcome to the 2024 Gaynor Cup in Cincinnati. We are down to the final 4. It's slightly unusual, but the top 4 seeds have actually all made it to the semi-finals. So we are seeing tonight the world numbers 6, 8, 10 and 12. All players put a really strong performance in last night. They all laid down the gauntlet, looked very sharp. So we're going to have, I think, 2 great semi-finals. So hopefully you stick around and watch both matches. And let those dinner plans wait just a little, because these are both going to be good to watch. First on the court, we have Olivia and Gina. So our top seed is world rank number 6. She beat Tesney Murphy last night, 3-love. She has 11 PSA titles to her name, and this is her 3rd Gaynor Cup. She's got the semi-finals for the last 2 years, so it's her 3rd straight semi. So please welcome from England, world number 6, our top seed, Gina Kennedy. And her opponent from the USA, finalist here a couple of years ago. She is a quarterfinalist. She beat Siva Subramanian 3-love in a very strong performance, 5 PSA titles to her name. So please welcome from the USA, world number 10, our number 3 seed, Olivia Weaver. If I can remind everyone, please turn your cell phones to silent so we don't disturb the players. I'd like to hear a lot of noise in between the points, but not necessarily no weapons.
Welcome to the Bahl and Gaynor Cincinnati Gaynor Cup 2024. We have an exciting day of semifinals here for you, with the first match being between Georgina Kennedy of England against American Olivia Weaver. Followed on, we'll see Rowan Elaraby from Egypt take on Tinne Gilis from Belgium. But we'll take our attention to this first match between Kennedy and Weaver. Both incredibly athletic players. Both have been in the top 10, with Georgina Kennedy being at her current ranking of 6th in the world, and Olivia Weaver being at 9. Anticipating that we will have a very physical match, lots of long rallies. We've had a very impressive start to this tournament, both getting through their matches so far in 3 games. So they should be feeling fairly fresh for this semifinal battle. On the right, we have Georgina Kennedy, as you said, ranked number 6 in the world. She's a 2-time semifinalist of this tournament, now 3. She has so far taken out Chesney Murphy in the quarterfinal in just 32 minutes. And in her round 2, she beat Nadine Shaheen in quick fashion. Very positive player, puts a lot of pace on the ball. Only fairly young. And then over in the blue, we have Olivia Weaver, current ranked 9, but she's been as high as 7. She's also been to this event 2 times, runner-up in 2022, and then making the last 16 in 2023. She is now training with Rod Martin over in Connecticut, but has quite a strong team behind her. I'm sure she'll come out with a very solid plan against Georgina Kennedy. They've played 4 times so far on the PSA World Tour, with Kennedy taking 3 of those wins, with Weaver taking the last matchup back in 2023. Joining me for this first semifinal and for the rest of the day is fellow friend and Canadian squash player Nicole Bunyan.
Hello, Danielle. Pleasure to be on here with you for this match. Had some battles
I feel like it's going to be a very friendly, free-flowing match.
Yeah, it should be. Not too many traffic issues with these two. So I think it's going to be pretty good from that.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how both of these players adjust to this court. They've obviously played 2 matches on it so far, but it's a slightly difficult court in that it can be really slow, but if you find the right pace, it will bounce off the floor, but it's slow off the front walls and the side walls. So if you're missing your targets, you can be in a whole lot of trouble. But if you're letting your arm go and really getting the ball through the court, it sets up a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, it's most people from watching online won't be able to tell. It's a panel court, which we see a lot of in the US and in Canada. Different faster traditional courts that you find in the UK or in other parts of the world. So has a bit of a different feel to it, like you said, Danielle. It really sticks to the sidewalls, but can be pretty punishing if it does clip the sidewall.
Play will start in 15 seconds. Following game of Cincinnati Gaynor Cup 2024 semifinal match. Olivia Weaver of the United States to serve. Georgina Kennedy of England to receive. Best of 5 games. Love all.
Well, here we go with Olivia Weaver kicking things off. It was interesting looking at their interviews and their matches from yesterday, and especially from Kennedy. She was talking about how she tends to push the ball up front a little bit too early at times, and she didn't necessarily settle into her length game in her previous match. But I imagine in this game she'll be trying to find those targets a little bit earlier on.
Handout, 1 love.
Yeah, I certainly anticipate a long affair here, Danielle, especially with the style of play that Victor's been implementing. She's really trying to extend the rallies and make herself hard to break down. She's not going for as many high-risk shots as before. And obviously she's got movement and fitness to back that up. So I do think that we're going to see some pretty lengthy rallies.
Do you feel that because she's gone away from some of that attacking squash, that at times it lets the other player dictate the rallies a little bit, especially someone who is equally as athletic as she is?
Yeah, perhaps. I think obviously the movement though, which has improved alongside it. So I think she's able to stay, well within it and kind of get away with having given away the opportunities perhaps. But I do see what you're saying. Sometimes maybe that bit of variation that she sees more could perhaps just unsettle the opponent a little bit more.
Thank you. 2-1.
Pretty shocking serve there from Weaver. Probably just enough variation that it caught Kennedy a bit off guard, making a pretty poor error there. A bit unusual to see from Kennedy.
Yeah, one of the things that'll be interesting to see is in the past when you've play, it's been a long affair, but it's been Kennedy, I think, when she's come out on top. Not that she always has. She has Victor or Weaver did beat her a couple times last season, but it was really Kennedy that just wasn't willing to be broken down. She got every ball back. And with Victor, she's actually going to try and do that same sort of game to Kennedy, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how Kennedy responds if someone is doing a better job of taking her game to her.
Yeah, we end talking about match times. Most of their match times have all been over the 40-minute mark, with the longest one being 58 minutes, all either 3-1 scores, with only one of the matches being 3-love, and that was the 40-minute match. But this is a very positive start from Victor, really applying pressure in the back, not really giving Kennedy any opportunities to attack, up 5-1.
6-1.
On another error from Kennedy, it's really shocking. It's great that she's added more variety into her game, because I think before we would see her really just try and keep it deep, but when the shots aren't necessarily working, just trying to find that trust in your backcourt game, really set up the points. And you have to give credit to Weaver, who's really just been flawless so far and just so steady and building that pressure, like you had mentioned, she's been working on and continuously doing this season.
7-1.
Yeah, it seems like right now Kennedy's run out of ideas, and that's why she's starting to force it. Needs to find a way of applying pressure to Weaver by structuring the rally a little bit better and getting some opportunities like that and then capitalizing. You see there, usually
it's the wrong shot selection. Weaver's already up at the front right corner. Jean Kennedy's getting behind the ball and then choosing to hit the post right to that same corner instead of forcing Weaver to do the tough movement. Wow, what a finish. Really applying the pressure, using that variation on the front wall, and now she has 9 game balls to take first game in a very impressive fashion. Well, there it is, 11-1. Definitely not what we would have expected coming into this match.
No, not at all. Big regroup needed for Gina Kennedy. Just 7 minutes. We were going on about how this is going to be a lengthy affair, Danielle, and that's got to be one of the quickest games anyone, aside from perhaps Nourel Sherbini's, had against Gina Kennedy.
Yeah, we'll see how she regroups. Well, there you have it. Gina Kennedy scoring the first point of the match and then unable to get another one on the board in that game. A very positive start from Weaver. She's been absolutely flawless so far.
Play will resume in 30 seconds. Weaver leads.
Here we go for the second game.
Level.
Now, what I'd like to see Gina Kennedy do is just add a bit more variety with her length hitting. It doesn't necessarily have to be all one pace, but use a little bit more height. Just try and move Weaver off of that tee and out of her rhythm. Because right now it tends to be fairly one pace, even when she is hitting her targets. And Weaver's so smooth with her movement that I think just adding enough variety can let Gina Kennedy buy herself a bit more time, settle down those nerves, have the time to focus on what she wants to do. And there it is. She hit that shot into the back, set up that opportunity.
One love.
Had time to actually execute that cross-court drop.
Hand out, 1-all.
Oh, perfect length. I did notice when I was practicing on the court this week, they do have pretty sizable nicks along the side wall.
Yeah, they do. You can get some fortunate bounces. Weaver continuing not to let Kennedy settle whatsoever. What she's done so well here, Danielle, is she's been proactive as well. Excuse me.
No, she hasn't. You can tell Kennedy's really reacting. There's a part in that rally, though, where I felt you could see there's a little bit more intention. She took a slight bit of pace off of her length. She's being a bit more patient. This rally is longer, but it's just one loose shot, and Weaver's just on the ball.
3-1.
I do think it helps. She had a testing match, even though it was 3-love against Siva Sangare yesterday. Up until the very back end of the game, it was very close in points. And then Sangare had a bit of a resurgence at the end of the third, having possible game balls to get into the match. And you could just see that composure of Weaver at the end point. And it is one thing I think Kennedy did get through her previous match against Murphy pretty easily, and just having that mental test rather than a physical one, but making yourself a little bit more sharp, seeing ball on the court, it does help.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really confidence-boosting rally from Weaver.
4-1.
Kennedy doing her utmost to try and break Weaver down, but absolutely relentless with the hitting and picking her punches really well.
5-1.
It is impressive. My
Sorry, I was
apologies.
just going to say, you can see the intent to go forward with Weaver every time.
And it is impressive she's maintained that same level of focus and intensity, because when you win a first game so easily against someone you might not necessarily expect to have that sort of game against, it is a big confidence boost, but it's easy to relax and get a little complacent. But she's just in a flow. First mistake of the match from Weaver.
2-5.
Music to Kennedy's ears.
Yeah, and I feel that's one of the big changes that Weaver's made since last season, is because she's got more confidence in her physicality and her movement, and with this aggressive, I don't want to say attritional in a bad way, but attritional hitting, doesn't feel that she needs to overcomplicate it too much or take on those high-risk shots.
Well, quick racket switch. Kennedy. We'll see if this one helps her keep it out of the tin a little bit more.
Hand out. 6-2. out.
You can tell there's
7-3.
maybe something up with Kennedy. She's just not really moving the way she can. And one thing that's always impressed me about Kennedy's movement is how explosive it is and how she can change direction. And you can see she's frustrated with herself going short too early, opening up that court. But it's something that you would maybe just a little flat today, not really responding to that change of direction as well as she normally does.
Yeah, it's quite unsettling when someone starts to beat you at your own game, isn't it? Which is kind of what Weaver's doing here to Kennedy. She's taking the pace and the physicality to Kennedy.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a good squeeze from Weaver. Attention to detail. One of the kind of a trademark Rod Martin movement up there as well, with the shuffling of the feet, getting the racket ready nice and early. They've no doubt done a lot of practice on that, not clutching
I'm
the
sure you would
sidewall.
know.
Yeah, I've done a few
Do
of
you
those
get on
drills in my
court a
time.
lot with both players?
Definitely been on with Weaver quite a lot. Obviously, we went to university together, and yeah, we spent a good amount of time together. So last summer, we were training in Connecticut quite a bit. Obviously, with the season, quite busy, a lot of traveling. This is fantastic work from Weaver. Oh. I mean, that's just the pressure mounting up. She had Gina Kennedy all over the court there. Kennedy is starting to force it more and more from behind Weaver, and then just feels she's got to go lower with those margins, hey?
Yeah, definitely. But that is an area where we've seen Weaver get most of her points, is that front right corner. Kennedy's really struggling up there today. And of course, it's because she's going short too early in the rally. But whenever Weaver's attacking that part of the court, Kennedy's struggling to respond. Well, beautiful length from Weaver, burying Kennedy in that back left corner, giving herself 7 game balls.
Down. 11-3 game for Weaver. Weaver leads 2 games to love.
Well, 11-3. Another very decisive game. A little bit longer this time. 10 minutes in duration, but still extremely clinical stuff from Weaver. Some competitive rallies between both players, but Weaver not letting Kennedy settle in whatsoever. Just 19 minutes. Weaver leads the English woman 2 games to love.
We'll take a look at the points breakdown. Kennedy winning that first point with the amazing
60 seconds.
cross-court nick. But then the other 2 points she scored were off Weaver's uncharacteristic errors. And it's tough when you know your points are only coming from someone's mistakes. And Weaver's just been so steady throughout this game. She's really been relying on the errors of Kennedy. But at the same time, it's because she's been hitting her targets, really finding the right angles
Play will resume
and depth.
in 30 seconds.
And I'm sure we'll see her continue this in this third game. She just looks so focused at the moment.
Seconds.
Yeah, you feel it's a tall order for Kennedy now.
Weaver
She
leads
really needs to do
2
something
games to
different,
none.
doesn't she, to try and unsettle Weaver.
Yeah, again, I think she could use some height, buy herself time, just resettle. Beautiful lift there from Weaver.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Weaver's straight lifts, which is a very tough shot to hit, especially on the forehand side, have been pretty immaculate.
Well, I've heard Rod Martin is pretty big on technique and making adjustments. We've heard in even Paul Call's interviews the importance he places on technique, and you can see that effect in Weaver's hitting. It's a lot more consistent, a lot tighter than even last season, and I have a feeling a lot of that's partly due to the technique as well as her fitness, having that time on the ball.
Yeah, it's definitely an increase in racket preparation, speed of the racket preparation rather, and the crispness of hitting. Oh, lovely angle from Kennedy.
Hand out.
Yeah. First time that shot's worked for her this match. I'm sure she's happy to find it. It's a bit lower, catching just 2 walls, not 3, as her other ones have been a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's really clinical work from Weaver. Got Kennedy running all over, and you can see that when Kennedy gets a bit of an opportunity, she's second guessing herself, isn't she?
Yeah, there's a couple times you see her try and hold it, but as she holds it, she doesn't actually find that accuracy. There's not that same intention of holding and really pushing the ball through. It's the hold and a panic.
Yeah, if you're going to hold, and you really need to commit to the shot, don't you? If you don't, there's not enough speed.
This is wild. We just never see this many errors from Kennedy. It's really shocking.
Yeah, Weaver's reading her like a book. Really got her house in order here, the American.
It was interesting listening to her interview. She, I think, was a little bit disappointed in her performance last week in the Kara Waymuller Open, and she said that she was really hunting down this title,
7-1.
really wanting to get to the finals. And it's one thing to say it and you almost get ahead of yourself, but here we can just see she's dialed in, made a plan, and is focused on the process, not necessarily the result, but has that determination to get there.
Hand out. 2-7.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly because you get that sense because Weaver signed up for so many tournaments, all of which she's actually expected to do quite well in, given her ranking and her seeding. So I think that just shows that she wants to get a lot of matches under her belt, expose herself to tons of practice playing under pressure.
She's playing the one next week in Detroit, correct?
Yep, she is. Which she won last year, actually, so she'll be the defending champion going in there.
Yeah, always nice to go back to a venue where you know you've had success. Probably had some crowd support there as well. But she's definitely had some home support here. It's nice being an American playing in all these U.S. tournaments. There's always going to be some people on your side, no matter where you go. Oh, another error from Kennedy, just slipping away so quickly.
Handout 3-9.
Perfect length from Weaver,
Handout
giving her
10-3
7 match balls to earn herself a place in the finals tomorrow. Great shot. One saved, and you have to give credit to Kennedy.
4-10 match ball.
It's tough being in these situations when it's really not going your way, and she just always keeps fighting, has such a positive attitude. But just not much chance for Kennedy. Weaver does impeccable squash today, coming off the semifinal in 3 very quick games. There it is, 20 minutes, the shortest match to date. 11-1, 11-3, 11-4.
One word describes that, which is wow. I mean, sport is obviously very much a confidence thing. You get your brain confident, and you just beat the world number 6, 1, 3, and 4. That must be some pretty good confidence.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the scores, just to get a win on Georgina, period, is an accomplishment I'm extremely proud of. She's she's right there. She's been in the top 10 for so long, and she's such an unbelievable player and a very close friend as well. Incredible on and off the court, and honestly, yeah, I couldn't be happier with my performance. Felt like not much went wrong, and really happy with how I executed my game plan. And yeah, I feel like you don't really get days like that often, but hopefully we can bring out another one like that tomorrow.
So you have the ball in your hand and you have your racket. Do you want to hit the tin so you see it's actually possible?
I'm well aware it's possible. Well aware. But yeah.
I think we saw one actually in that match. I mean, that was incredible. So obviously the stuff you're doing with now Rod and training, I think you said you changed your background a bit.
Well, join us at 6 p.m. just 23 minutes away for the second semifinal between Rowan Elaraby and Tinne Gilis. Until then, we'll leave you with Nathan and this interview with Olivia Weaver.
And the reason why I signed up for so many events at this point in the season is just I want to play and I want to win and I want to perform like this as consistently as possible. And yeah, it's interesting, like a draw like this where you don't have the top few girls. It's a big opportunity for all of us, but I just really, you guys have such an awesome membership here, an awesome club, and I just absolutely have loved playing at this event. And I talked to my mental coach going into this match today, and I just really wanted to feel kind of the magic of this club and really enjoy the experience of playing in front of everyone here. So thank you for everyone for coming out.
So some players show pretty much no emotion. You don't. It's not like you show an awful lot of emotion, but you talk to yourself a lot before you serve. It's like you're always nodding your head, kind of like talking to yourself, like saying something. Is it just like keep going, or are you telling yourself a message, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think today it was just like, don't stop doing what you're doing. Just keep it up. Don't lose focus. I mean, in this game, things can shift so quickly. So if you take your foot off the gas for a second, especially against a competitor like Gina, things can change in the blink of an eye. So for me, it was just focusing on where I was putting the ball and just being aggressive and executing my game plan.
Well, I mean, you saw the magical club, magical crowd. Well, that performance was pretty magical. And we'll see you again tomorrow in the final. Very well done. So we have just over 20 minutes before our next semi-final will come on. And that's going to feature the world number 8 and the world number 12. So we have chili, short rib sandwiches, plenty of cocktails, so help yourself. And let's, I'll give you a 2-3 minute warning to get back into your seats. Play will resume in 3 minutes, so if you would like to start making your way back to your seats, please. Play will be resuming in 1 minute, so if you could please return to your seats before the match. Yeah, please return to your seats. We really want to get the flight departing on time, so please can you get into your seats?
Yeah, I'll be here. Awesome.
Okay, we are at the Cincinnati Gaynor Cup, and we are now about to see who's going to meet Olivia in the final tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We should be in for another great match here. We have two players, one who's formerly world number 7, one currently at world number 8. So first on the court, we are going to introduce our number 4 seed. She has been here 5 times, first played this tournament in 2017 as a 16-year-old. Now at the ripe old age of 23, she is now world number 12. Please welcome from Egypt, Rowan Elaraby. And her opponent is from Belgium. She is our number 2 seed and the world number 8. Quarter-final, she beat Farouz last night in a very convincing performance. Her third Gaynor Cup here. So please welcome number 2 seed, world number 8, Tinne Gilis. Remind cell phones to silence so they don't get players, and keep up that noise in between us.
Welcome back to our second semifinal here in Cincinnati. Really exciting match for you coming up between Rowan Elaraby of Egypt taking on Tinne Gilis of Belgium. On the right, you see Rowan Elaraby. She's had a pretty testing run through to the semifinals. Had a 5-game match against Jasmine Hutton, came through 11-9 in the 5th. So really good performance from Hutton. And then in the quarterfinal, beat her compatriot Kenzie Ayman 3-1. So neither of those matches all that straightforward. She's been in really good form recently. Had a very good run at the Tournament of Champions just the other week in New York. Made it to the semifinals, which I believe is her first platinum semifinal. And there you see her stats. She's currently ranked 12 in the world. Has been as high as 7. So she'll no doubt be looking to get back into that top 10 and push on even further, which she knows that she's capable of. Astonishing conversion rate in finals. 7 out of 8 finals. And she's taking on Tinne Gilis, currently sat at her highest world ranking of number 8. She's been relatively untested so far in this event, beating junior Emma Trauber 3-0, who had a really good win against Amelia Soini, so fantastic performance from her. And then coming through against Fairouz Abelkair, who's also been in very good form, perhaps a little bit mentally and or physically fatigued yesterday against Gilis. Just 25 minutes for Gilis to dispatch the Egyptian. Both these players very crisp, clean hitters of the ball. We're in for some very dynamic squash here today. Joining me for this one, my fellow co-commentator, Danielle Letourneau. Hello.
Hello, good evening. I think this will be a very interesting match. They've only played each other once before, but it was 45 minutes, but Rowan Elaraby had to retire at 10-all in the 4th game. So really tough to tell how that might have gone otherwise. That was at the Bahl Open in 2023, so not too long ago, just 1 year. But talking about Rowan Elaraby and having a couple close matches, obviously Jasmine Hutton putting up a very strong performance. But it's interesting when you play someone, I believe they train together sometimes down at Connecticut and Florida together. And when you're playing against someone who knows your game, knows how to read you, and Rowan Elaraby is very difficult to reach. He's very tricky, very skillful. And I think the fact neither of these players, and the same goes for Tinne Gilis, don't get me wrong, she's also equally attacking, very tricky, and I think we'll have a very exciting match on our hands because they haven't played each other too much. They have a lot of variety. They'll move the ball around the court. And it's a very different experience compared to when you're playing someone who you've been on court with a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Very little history between the two.
Play will start in 15 seconds.
Bright colors today. Tinne Gilis in the pink, Rowan Elaraby over in the blue.
Semi-final match. Rowan Elaraby of Egypt to serve, Tinne Gilis of Belgium to receive. There's 5 games, love all.
Both players have made some drastic changes to their coaching teams. Rowan Elaraby working with Bahl Hindi down in Florida starting this summer, and Gilis working with the general Gregory Gauthier over in Prague, both adding new elements to their game. We definitely saw that with Elaraby at the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, certainly increase in physicality. We were both down in Florida, weren't we, before TOC, Danielle, playing the Kinetic tournament. And they certainly have an emphasis on their physical training, don't they? It's a big part of the regimen. So I feel that's been a really good addition to Elaraby's game. It's always been skillful, as you said.
One love.
Yeah, it was actually very interesting. We were down there for the tournament, and Elaraby had opted not to play the Kinetic tournament, even though she was there to do the extra physical training and preparation for the Tournament of Champions, which obviously paid off. She had such a great run and some very testing matches physically, one against Gilis and the other against Amina Orfi, and finally up against Nuran Gohar. And I was very impressed with her ability to back up those matches. There were moments, especially in the match against Gilis, where a little down and out, and she just kept fighting and pushing, and it's a real testament to her character, the fact she's made these changes and put in that work. Both Gilis sisters, very different styles of play. So what might work against one definitely won't work against the other.
Danielle, we've spoken a little bit now about Elaraby, but switching to Tinne Gilis, you do quite a bit of work with Gauthier yourself, don't you? So I'd be really interested to hear what you feel, like knowing his coaching style so well, what you feel he's brought to Gilis's game since they've started working together.
Well, the one thing that is so impressive about Greg Gauthier is the structure he has day in and day out, with the preparation going into practice on court and off court. And I think Tinne Gilis, she has a lot of talent. She loves to move the ball around, but I think he provides a bit more structure, really amazing game plans. And when you're there, he definitely makes you work hard, but not, and also very smart, working on the movement. But I wouldn't say he's not a one-size-fits-all. He definitely adjusts to each player the way he coaches me compared to Tinne, compared to Shubini or Mohammed Al-Shubagi. His main 3 players there is very different. So obviously he would have worked with her, knows her strengths, knows what she can do, and will definitely have a plan to optimize it tonight.
Out 3-all.
Both seeing them using that left wall quite a lot so far. I would say it's definitely a strong area for both of them. Very comfortable over there.
There you can see Gilis really intent on keeping as much on the left wall as possible. Most of the
4-3.
shots that come over to the right side from Elaraby end up getting crossed right back from Gilis.
Yeah, it's a good observation. I think it's good because it's playing to her strength, but you don't want to overdo it, especially opening up the court against Elaraby. She has such severe attacks. I feel Gilis has the attacks, but I feel like they're more of a moving
5-3
attack, whereas Elaraby's has that extra punch to them, a bit more cut. Having trained with both of them at times, you definitely get a sense for both of their styles. And Elaraby's backhand, I'd say similar to Tayeb, there's a lot of extra cut on it.
Yeah, it's one of those subtleties you can't quite pick up on watching the stream sometimes, hey? You really have to be there in person or be there on court, actually, to see what damage it's doing.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, well, what a rally. Elaraby was in control for 80% of it. Really putting work in the legs of Gilis. Then that lob, that nice use of height, really allowed Gilis to reset, get that opportunity, and just put it away.
Down. 5-all.
Oh, amazing length. Really letting her racket go. Putting that pressure at the back of the court.
6-5.
Yeah, Gilis showing her physicality.
Oh, beautiful volley.
7-5.
Starting to make a move now, Gilis, pouncing on any semi-opportunity that presents itself.
Oh, same goes for Elaraby. Very
And
cat and
out
mouse
6-7.
serve game so far.
Yeah, it's good to see this kind of battle. First semi-final wasn't as close as we expected it to be. It was quite one-sided. So it's good that
Stroke to
we're
Elaraby.
seeing a little bit more.
The only line to that ball was through you. Conduct warning, Gilis for descent. 7-all.
Strong referee stance early in this match. I think there were other matches we saw with a little bit of talkback, so not with Gilis, but in other matches. So I feel he's practiced and was ready for, does not want to engage in any conversations.
Certainly something that the refs have cracked down coming into this season, which sometimes I feel is a little bit unfair because as a player, obviously in the heat of the battle here, your emotions are high, aren't they? Or your intensity is very high, and sometimes you just react,
7-all.
don't you? Can't quite control your tone of voice.
Yeah, no, it can be tough, especially when it's a really big match like this one. Semi-final. you find it's also difficult at this venue. You have the referee who is pretty much at the same angle as we are, who's on the second level of the court. And obviously, when you're down on the court, you'd have a very different perspective of what you think the call would be compared to when you're up above. And so it can be frustrating when it's just a matter of perspective.
Yeah, that's true. The bird's eye view that we have from here tends to condense the court, doesn't it?
Yeah, you see it on the, even when we have the glass court, you can get that bird's eye view review. It always will look like a stroke.
And out, 8-all.
Tied apiece, 8-all.
No left. I want you to go there and play the ball. I want you to make more effort to play the ball. 9-8.
Solid shot by Gilis. I feel it's a solid call.
And out, 9-all. Game ball.
Well, lovely variation from Elaraby. Completely took Gilis by surprise. She's earned herself a game ball, pulling ahead slightly here in this first game.
Gilis losing that length hitting just so slightly. Pretty fortunate there with
win by 2 points.
the error from Elaraby, bringing us to a tiebreak.
Had a feeling it was going to go to a tiebreak. It's the way it's been going.
Nice squeeze there from Gilis, finding the targets again. She lost it for a couple points. Give yourself a game ball.
Game to Gilis. Gilis 1 game to go.
Well, very impressive fight back from Gilis. It was neck and neck all the way through that game, but then she did find herself down a game ball. Proceeded to win 3 points in a row. Take that first game 12-10, 15 minutes, so a pretty decent duration. Very hard hitting squash. Minimal interference, which we like to see. And it's Tinne Gilis that leads 1 game to love.
Well, definitely a few swings in momentum, both tending to get 3 to 4 points in a row.
Play will resume in
But
60 seconds.
it's very dynamic squash, very entertaining squash. Both are very dialed in today. It's really a matter of a couple shot selections and focus at the key points.
Play will resume in 30 seconds. Fifteen seconds. Gilis leads 1 game to love. Love all. Just let love all.
One thing I was very impressed by with Tinne Gilis in that first game, especially at the end, is that she added the variety at the key points, using Elaraby's boast against her, using variety, sometimes crossing, then adding the straight drive, then adding the straight drop, keeping her on her toes. And Gilis needs to continue to do that because the variety is key. One thing Elaraby does, and I'm saying this from personal experience, is she's very good at using your own pace and your own rhythm against you and really breaking it up. If she can anticipate, we saw it at the end of the first at 9-all to get her that game ball, is that boast off the volley. Once it becomes predictable, she has that same variety. So Gilis needs to keep mixing it.
Yeah, Elaraby is a very natural reader of the game. A bit of a fortunate one there, though. So frustrating when you hit your best tight drive and then your opponent shanks it onto the front wall a millimeter above the tin.
Yeah, never fun. Unless you're the one doing it, then I don't know. I have a question for you. If you do that, do you apologize or you just act like you meant to do it?
I think I would apologize, but have a laugh at the same time, because obviously you're pleased that it's made the front wall, but both of you know it's not intentional.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think it's just because we're Canadian, we would both say sorry, but we might not mean it.
No, you're definitely happy to win the point, for sure. Probably not one that you'd fist pump because it's so unintentional, but you'd be relieved to see it make the front wall.
Would be, and add some entertainment value if you did see someone fist pump after it, though.
You just have to laugh, I think.
4-2.
Another error sneaking in for Elaraby. She's clearly frustrated. Can be gold, but then she will also have the occasional mishap like that.
Yeah, she'll be kicking herself for having lost that first game, having earned herself a game ball. And thing is, when it's such a close game, but you end up on the losing end, I think that most of the time you have to remind yourself you didn't do too much wrong to get yourself right. Obviously, you got yourself into a winning position, but
6-2.
now it just seems like the wheels have come off slightly. Things have gone slightly awry. She needs to find a way to get back to what she was doing so well in that first.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's overcomplicating it. You can see she's rushing herself instead of just getting in position, getting through. Maybe playing a bit more basic.
And out 3-6. No let. There was a line to the back.
Oh, the crowd can hear a bit of
4-6.
animation from them. I think that was a bit of a harsh one. Hard for us to tell from up here, of course.
Yeah, the crowd definitely thought it was a contentious call. Then again, they do have a courtside bar, so that could also affect the reactions.
Down.
I will say it's a very amazing setup
And
at
out,
at
7-4.
this club, the Cincinnati Country Club. Nathan Dugan, the promoter, always does such an amazing job. He treats the players very well. Good billets, good food. You really feel like you're taken care of, and I think that's why we see so many players returning to this event. Gina Kennedy, this is her third. I think Kesney Evans played it many times. I've gone back at least 4 times. But it's just a very welcoming club, and you can tell that all the members there truly love squash. Even the first round, the bleachers were packed, and you don't get that at every event.
Stroke to Gilis. And out 8-5.
This is good from Gilis. A lot of variety using that height. Elaraby was
9-5.
hunting down that volley, coming from the forehand front to the back, and just using enough height to unsettle her.
And out 6-9.
Could hear the strings on that one, couldn't you? Maybe just a little too fine with the margins.
Unfortunately for Gilis, at the time a 4-point lead, can afford one error.
And out 10-6. Game ball.
Yeah, Belgium has certainly been the steadier of the two players. Pulled away quite significantly. Earned herself 4 game balls to take this into a 2-love lead.
Down 11-6. Game to Gilis.
Beautiful finish.
Gilis 2 games to love.
Yeah, really confident stuff from Tinne Gilis. First game was very close, neck and neck. But you have to say that she really raised her game a gear there in the second. Just half the duration of the first, 11-6. And Gilis has herself a 2-love lead in the semifinal here in Cincinnati.
They will resume in 60 seconds.
The point breakdown. Elaraby's points a bit more sporadic compared to that first game. Tinne Gilis really having the momentum. But we'll see if the Egyptian has a response here in the third.
Play will resume in 30 seconds. 15 seconds. Gilis leads 2 games to love. Love all.
Woo.
And out.
Very fiery start from Rowan Elaraby. Very difficult shot to execute. You can tell she's really trying to fire herself up here in the third. Big response is needed as well.
And out 1-0.
What she did in that first rally, she strained it up a lot more, went back to basics. And I think that second game, she was just trying to open it up too much. And while she's skillful and likes having an open court, Tinne Gilis does as well. And if you're not accurate with the width, you're going to be pressured in there. Just throwing the boast in way too early. We did notice it with the match with Kennedy and Weaver. The boast, unless you really hit it perfectly, it does pop up off that front wall. It doesn't really stay down, and more times than not, it sets up your opponent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Kind of hard to get the feel on this court. Much more beneficial to just chop the ball in like that. Obviously easier said than done. Immaculate volley drop from Gilis. But what she's done there, she's put some racket head speed through the ball. Not trying to float it in.
Yeah, it was funny when you first get on that court, you feel like it's slow, and so you're like, okay, maybe lob drop, that's the way to go, and that's the style of play. But unless you hit it perfectly and you really finish that lob, you follow through with the ball, it ends up sitting in the middle of nowhere. It really sets up your opponent. You do tend to need a bit more pace to get it all the way through. Well, I appreciate the attempt by Gilis.
2-3.
But Rowan Elaraby, quality shot, keeping it within 1 point.
All left side.
Yeah, just as you said, Danielle, those straight attacks serving Elaraby much better. You also pointed out how she's overcomplicating it a little bit in that second game.
4-3.
Yeah, this is much better from Elaraby. Very good response.
Up. And out 4-all. That was 2, I'm sure.
Well, I know that we don't have the best viewpoint here, being watching this from this angle and on the screens, but I thought that she got under that pretty quickly. Would have liked to have seen a video, super slow-mo video replay.
Yeah, definitely enjoy the new cameras and updates to SquashTV. You get a very clear view of everything happening on the court when it's on the glass. Yeah, much better from Elaraby. She's found her plan. She's found the tactic. It's just a matter of execution at this point. And we'll see if Gilis can pick up on this change in real time. We've seen Gilis have a lot of really close battles, and then when it gets a bit tight in the fifth, we saw it against Amanda Sobey right before her injury, having match balls, being going to that 5th game and not able to close it out. Same with Gina Kennedy, time and time again. And I think for Gilis, if she can get off in 3, it'll be a big confidence boost for her, knowing that she stayed focused the whole way through the match.
Stroke to Elaraby. And out 6-5.
Crucial time now for Gilis. She needs to keep her head. Make sure that that decision doesn't actually affect her too much. Because this has been a better spell from Elaraby. A lot more positive. Finding her targets much better as well.
Yeah, using the angles against Gilis. Pushing in that straight drop.
7-5.
Getting her first lead in a while. 2-point lead in a while in this match.
Ow. That was silly.
So good.
I feel like we used to see a lot more of that from Gilis. She loved to throw around those angles, and she does have a lot of talent, doesn't she? But what she's been doing a lot better job of doing, like you said earlier, Danielle, is keeping it more structured, right?
Yeah, I think she has all the skills, and it's a matter of using it at the right time. Before we'd see her open it up a bit too much, and now there's definitely more purpose, especially at the back of the court, using that variety in her length. Oh, it's a big rally. Gilis making the air. Probably feeling the pressure. Elaraby's making it a lot more difficult for her to get those points.
Yeah, Elaraby's really making sure that she's getting the width now on her cross courts. Just as I say that, she hit one that didn't hit the sidewall. But she had done such a better job of straightening it out and getting the width just past the racket of Gilis, who loves to volley, loves to cut the ball off around the middle, like you said.
Good intention, but she was so stretched in her movement, really reaching for that ball, and just a simple lift or cross-court lob would have sufficed. And that's where she gets in trouble when she overcomplicates it.
Yes, lad. 8-all. That was fine. It's just traffic. Gilis from the left, 8-all.
Yeah, I think that the shot quality from Gilis was just good enough for that not to be a stroke. If it had hit the sidewall anymore, it was heavy. I think that could have been a stroke, which Elaraby was really banking on.
Yeah, fair decision, in my opinion.
Yes, lad. 8-all. Your ball was loose and you were not entirely clear. From the left, 8-all.
I'm curious, in Elaraby's match yesterday against Eamon, my apologies. In the second game, when there were a lot more calls, it actually favored Kenzie Eamon more than Rowan Elaraby, and you wonder if the focus, when it loses that rhythm and it gets a little bit more testy, if she'll keep her focus, but there she clearly did. Beautiful finish.
Yeah, some players are able to thrive off of the start, stop, and lack of rhythm, aren't they?
Stroke to Gilis. Because you were next to the ball. It's Elaraby. And out, 9-all. On the warning, Elaraby for descent.
Chance.
Yes, led. 9-all.
Well, a few decisions starting to creep in now. Both players certainly feeling the magnitude of this stage in the match. It's do or die times for Elaraby. And you can tell that Gilis wants to get off in 3.
Oh,
Wow.
she ran through it.
Phenomenal athleticism from both players. Such a good get from Elaraby and fantastically straightened by Gilis. Incredible get gives her a 1-match ball. There it is.
9.
We took one.
12-10. 11-6. 11-9.
Very, very steady and confident performance from the Belgian. Especially the second game, which was very clinical, but she held her nerve in the first and the third. Very easily could have gone down 1-love, but I feel that clinching that first game set the tone for the match, gave her some confidence.
Little scream at the end there showed how much that meant to you. Feeling good about that?
Now we'll hear from Nathan Dugan interviewing Tinne Gilis.
No, I mean, I try not to do that too much because I know I can lose my focus sometimes. So every point I was just like focusing, okay, next one. Don't let her get into your head or the other way around. Just focus on my point, and I'm very, very relieved that I sneaked the last game.
So I'm going to ask you, so you got a conduct warning quite early in the match for talking with the ref, and Tesney got one yesterday, and she was kind of making the crowd laugh and got a conduct warning at the same time, and then Rowan got one at the end. Do you think that's a good thing that you are not able to talk to the refs or have any sort of character on it, or do you think it's actually maybe good for the game to show some people's character a little bit?
I mean, it depends. Like, if you're trying to explain yourself, I feel like that should be allowed. But if you're like, the thing I said, I agree. I should get a conduct warning. I shouldn't say that's an easy let, whatever. Like, if you're actually like discussing with the ref and not talking about what happened here.
Well, there you see the results from today's semifinals in Cincinnati. Olivia Weaver putting together a very comprehensive performance against Gina Kennedy. 3 games to love. One of the best days at the office that Weaver said she's had in quite some time. Excellent performance from her. And then Tinne Gilis also coming through in 3. Closer match, though, than the first semifinal. Very closely contested. 3 games. But as I said before, managed to hold her nerve, especially in the first and the third games, fight off the Egyptian, and came through in straight games. So tomorrow, a very exciting final. Olivia Weaver taking on Tinne Gilis. That'll be coming up at 5 p.m. local time. So for now, I'll leave you to listen to Nathan interviewing Tinne Gilis, and hopefully see you tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. for the final in Cincinnati. Have a good night.
Family, like you're traveling so much, you're away from your family, so with such close and good friends around you, it just feels a bit like family as well. It makes it so much better.
So I want to ask you how aware you are of the crowd when you're playing, because the women's game has got to such a level with the retrieving now and what you guys can get back. There was a couple of rallies that the crowd go ooh, because they don't expect you to get it, and then you get it back, and the crowd are making a noise in the rally. Are you aware of the crowd much when you're playing?
Today I was actually, but it kind of makes me laugh. And I'm trying to stay focused, but it's just like it means that they're like enjoying the match and they're like into it, and that's a good sign, I guess, and it doesn't really bother me at all. I don't know about the others, but no, for me it kind of gives me a push as well. Like, oh, she got it back, so I'm trying to get the next one as well. So no, I don't mind at all. I like it, to be honest.
They even booed the ref at one point. No getting into it. They're not getting into it.
Thank you. I deserve that warning. It's fine.
So you said if win or lose, if you got to the final, you got the cheeseburger and fries coming. Well, you definitely got your cheeseburger and fries now. So, what you played Olivia? When was the last time you played her?
I remember the last time I played her was Zurich. I think that was like just over a year ago. That was the last time. It was best of 3 as well, and she beat me 2-1. But like that's a year ago, but obviously she's in very, very good shape, beating the number 1 seed today in 3 games. Like I don't think it's so hard to do, because I find it so hard to get a game of Gina, because she just picks up everything. So the performance she had today was just very impressive. So I have to be on my toes tomorrow from the beginning, but I'm very excited to play her. I know it's going to be a clean match. She's like I said, she's a good player, so I'm looking forward to a good battle tomorrow.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it. You both played stunning tonight, so congratulations. We'll see you in the final, 5 o'clock tomorrow. Tinne Gilis. So it's great to see a packed house tonight, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 5 o'clock. The match will start sharp at 5, and we're going to have food out again, so I encourage you to get here around 4:15, would be 4:15 to 4:30, because with the players that we still have left, we might do a little interactive court, fun stuff, little competition beforehand, before we get the final on, so you can have a cocktail, maybe watch something, so you're all in the seats before the match starts. So we will see you again tomorrow night for the Gaynor Cup.